Well, all good things come to an end, and luckily for us, all not such great things come to an end too. So we've officially come to the end of hay season 2025. This is the last time the pivot will be on this year. There are no more cuttings. The irrigation goes off on Friday, and we'll just see how everything winters until the spring when we get to start it all over again. It's it's been an interesting one. I can't say I'm gonna miss it, but hopefully we learned a lot from it and don't have to repeat a lot of the same mistakes and lessons. But I'm sure there will definitely be consistent things in future cuttings, but hopefully we get a little bit of a break next year or in future years. Looking at the weather forecast, it's not going to be warm enough for long enough that we feel like we could get another cutting in and have it dry. Also, that it would give the alfalfa enough time between cutting and when it freezes. So supposedly the alfalfa is supposed to have a month-ish before it freezes so that it can kind of prepare itself and get ready to winter. And if we cut it now, it probably wouldn't have time to do that. So what we've done instead, these way up along the fence line is all of our hand lines. So we pulled them out of the field last night and got them, out of the way so that this afternoon a spray rig can come out and put down fertilizer. So that'll give it some nutrients to winter. So we're gonna run the pivot around until Friday and give the fertilizer a chance to water in and give the alfalfa a last drink of water before winter, and then let it do what it's gonna do and see where it is in the spring. We're a little bit worried because you can kind of see how tall some of this already is, that if it's this scraggly now, what's it going to be like in the spring once it really starts growing and taking off again. So we may just have to have a really early first cutting, which may or may not be bad. We're not 100% sure yet. We do feel like we've maybe waited a little too long for our first cutting this year. We're hoping that we get a little bit friendlier weather next year and that we do things a little bit different. So maybe an earlier first cutting will be good. So we'll just have to see what happens with this over winter. Does it kind of die down, or is this just where it's going to be all year and then in the spring it starts from here and just shoots up? So between that and weeds and different things, we're not 100% sure. So as much for my remembering as anything. Let's see, so right there, which is, so we've got last tower right above the second, nope, right above the third drop is leaking. I think that might just be the hose leaking, I'm not 100% sure. But between the 6th and the 5th tower, there's a pretty big leak. Again, that looks like it's out of a hose. And that's as far as I can see on the pivot. Oh, right on the other end of the 5th tower. 2 hoses in. Looks like it's also got a leak. So hopefully we can get that fixed before next spring. And what else could we do? So this has been fertilized, so it's hopefully ready to give all its nutrients for the winter. And we're also hoping, we've talked to a couple different people, that maybe we could rent out part of the field. I don't know which part. If both pivots or just the little pivot or one part of one or the other, to graze some cattle on. I don't know if it's just in the fall or over the winter or first thing in the spring. Help them eat it down a little bit, and then maybe it won't be so tall in the spring. and then also provide a little bit of natural fertilizer as well. So those are some things we're kind of looking forward to, and I am sure you will see a lot more of if we actually do get cows either of our own or rent some pasture to feed some cows. So those are some, like I said, some things that are coming up that I'm pretty excited about. So we will keep you posted as we know more, but until then, this is the official end of the 2025 hay season. It has been quite a year. So hopefully this is one of those years that we're like, oh my gosh, do you remember the summer of 2025 when all of these things happened? And it'll be one of those 100-year things that it doesn't become the new norm. So definitely have to do some pivot maintenance over the winter. As I was just walking out here, there are some pretty big gopher mounds, and I don't know, with as tall as the alfalfa is, if there's really going to be a lot that I can do this fall, or if we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens in the spring. But this one is pretty close to the edge of the yard, and it's pretty giant. And I noticed yesterday when we were pulling hand lines out, there's some colonies that are very, very big. So I'll have to do some research on weather and some of those things. That's it. We've made it to the end. So thank you for following along with us and being on this journey, and thank you for your support and your guidance and your input, and thanks for watching.